What you're looking at is the Acasis M002 Pro. This is a dock, a stand, and an SSD enclosure specifically designed for the smaller form factor M4 Mac Minis. This is the M4 Mac Mini Pro that I've got inside this. And what this means is we can also now attach up to 2 fast NVMe drives underneath it, giving significantly more storage and at a fraction of the price that Apple would charge you to upgrade your storage on the Mac Mini itself at checkout. We can also now power 3 external monitors through the additional connectivity that this gives. We've also got SD and micro SD card reader on the enclosure as well. Plus, we've got some additional USB ports here as well. It also solves one other problem, which you may be familiar with the latest generation of Mac Minis, which is that the power button is now a lot easier to reach rather than it being underneath the Mac Mini itself. So in this video, what I'm going to do is show you how it all goes together, talk about what I love about it, things that I think could be improved perhaps for the next version, and who this is actually for, and specifically talking about how I'm going to be using this myself going forward. So let's get into it, and we'll start with just looking at how we put it all together. So here is the empty enclosure made out of really solid, sturdy aluminium. And what you need to do, first of all, to install the actual Mac Mini is undo these 4 screws that you'll find down the bottom. It does include the screwdriver that you're going to need to do that. Once you do that, then this entire bottom plate is going to drop off, and if we turn it upside down, then we can see that over on this side you've basically got the area that houses all of the input and output ports, and then you've got the actual drive bay itself in here, which we'll get into in a moment. But now you've got this space here which is for the Mac Mini. Just notice that there are these cutouts down this side and this side, and then this is a sort of vented grill on the back, and so what we're going to do is take our Mac Mini and put it in there. The way to do this then is just notice that the grill is lined up with the fan on the bottom of the Mac Mini, so it's going to slot in this way, and then also we've got this button here which is the power button, so that needs to line up basically with the power button that we've got on the bottom of the Mac Mini just down in this corner. So assuming you've got that, then it's just a case of sliding this in. You will see that this is sort of padded inside, so it's not metal on metal as such down there, and then as we slide that in, you can actually see through those vents now that this is basically completely open to that fan that we've got in the bottom of the Mac Mini. So it's going to allow for that airflow, and then obviously the aluminium itself is intended to help with that heat dissipation itself. So that's all there is to it really. The button now is lined up with that power button on the Mac Mini, so now we just need to replace that plate on the bottom, and so it's just a case of taking that, placing it back into the enclosure there like this, and then replacing those 4 screws, which is what I'll do now. So having replaced those 4 screws, I'm now going to open this side door here. So this is on the vent is on this side. On this side, we've got this door that comes off here, which is where we're going to put our SSD drive. So just unscrewing this single screw, you'll find that this whole plate just lifts out. And now you can see that we've got this area in here. I don't know if you can see that actually, with it being a bit dark, but there are 2 slots in there basically for us to put in our drives. And so these are these types of drives here. And I'm just going to sort of slot that in at 45 degrees, maybe easier if I've got it down on the desk. And once it's slotted in, then there are 2 little rubber plugs, one for each of the drives that will hold it down. Notice that you do also they've actually included 4 of these, but technically you only need 2, so I guess spare ones. But these are intended for thermal protection, and so these are going to go on your drive. Just make sure though there is this plastic film on them that you remove those first of all, because you don't want that melting onto a hot drive. But once you've got the plugs in, you just simply apply that to the top of each of the drives, and then you replace the top casing here. Now that we've added the drives and the Mac Mini, it's a case of connecting the 2 things together. So at the moment, we've just got an enclosure with the Mac Mini inside it, but there's nothing actually connecting them. And so that's where we come onto these connectors on the back. Obviously, the gap in the enclosure there just gives us access to all of the Mac Mini connections. Then on the Acasis itself, this connector at the top says host. There is a 40 gigabits per second, sorry, connector that comes with it. And so that just needs to connect from the back of the dock there, and then plug into one of those Thunderbolt connectors on the back of the Mac Mini. Then we've obviously got access to the power for the Mac Mini itself. There is also an included 30-watt power supply that comes with the Acasis as well, and so that connects down here. Technically, it might not be essential to have that connected. However, I just would recommend that you connect it, because otherwise all the power for all of your peripherals would be just being drawn through here from the Mac Mini. Then you have still got obviously access to those two Thunderbolt ports there as well. This is then to DisplayPort to power two external monitors. That is how we've got now basically 3 monitors powered from this Mac Mini. So 1 HDMI out of the Mac Mini itself and 2 DisplayPort there. We mentioned earlier that you've got the SD cards on the top and micro SD card. You can use both of those at the same time. And then over on the front then, we've got obviously the 2 Thunderbolt ports on the front of the Mac Mini itself. And then we've got 3 ports just down here that are USB-A. Now, I mentioned before about this power button to actually turn on the Mac Mini. Just notice that there is a separate power button here, which is actually to turn on the power for the dock at the front here. So when you are switching this on, you're going to turn on the Mac Mini itself and then also turn on the power here. And there is a little green indicator light there. So we've now got obviously significantly improved storage on our Mac Mini Pro or Mac Mini, M4 Mac Mini. And we've also got this additional sort of inputs and outputs and monitors. So let's take a look at some of the specs then, because the way that we connect these internal drives is actually going to dictate the speeds that we can get out of it. So you'll find this link down in the description as well, but I just want to draw your attention to the model that I've got here, which is the M002 Pro. There is also the M002 Plus, but just notice that the Pro has the 2 drive bays that I'm talking about. The Plus just has a single drive bay, so just make sure that you notice that. And this one has dual SSD. This one here, where it says single SSD, would be that other one. Hopefully it should be obvious from the picture, but just notice the one that I'm talking about here. So then if we just come down here, you'll see various different things related to the speeds and so on. It's worth just drawing your attention, and I won't go over every single spec here, but just notice if we scroll down a little bit, you'll see that there are these different speeds listed here. And so just so that this does not become too confusing here, where it's talking about single M4, so that's the single chip. When you've got dual, that is 2 chips in it, 2 SSD cards, I should say. But then we've got RAID 0 and RAID 1. So it's worth just explaining what that actually means. Now, if you go into your disk utility on your Mac and then go into the file menu, you'll see that there's an option for RAID Assist. And so let's just take a look at this, because this is to do with how you actually set up those 2 drives that you've got in the enclosure. So the first option then is striped RAID 0. This is basically where your computer is going to see these 2 drives and effectively just see them as a single drive, and it's going to stripe across them. So what that means is it's going to split the data between those 2 drives, and so it's not creating any backup, but it's going to give you additional speed, because essentially you can write to these 2 things at the same time. The second option is mirrored. Now, this is one where you want to have redundancy. Basically, the 2 drives that you've got in there are going to just be a mirror of one another, assuming that they are the same size. Obviously, if they're not the same size, you're going to be limited to the smaller drive size. But if you've got 2, let's say 2 terabyte drives in there, then the total space you're going to have is 2 terabytes. However, everything that is being written to the drive is going to be written simultaneously to both drives. So that's going to give you that redundancy. Then we've got this one, concatenated, or JBOD. That is just meaning that it's going to see these things as 2 completely separate drives, and you could maybe have, store some things on one and some things on the other. So basically, if you're looking for security and redundancy, then you want to go with mirrored. If you're looking for additional speed, then that's going to be this striped RAID 0, spreading it out over 2 drives, but and combining the total of the drives. But you can't just sort of address each drive individually, or this one, JBOD, is if you want to have 2 separate drives attached within the storage bay. So the point to note there, though, is that RAID 0 is going to be the fastest, and RAID 1 and JBOD are not going to give you that same speed. Now, if we come back over to the spec sheets, then this is where you're going to see the difference here with RAID 0 and RAID 1. Now, just to add another little twist twist in the story here. It also depends on what you've got connected in terms of the displays over the display ports that are connected into the back as well, because obviously if you're powering, two external displays, then there is going to be data transfer into that as well. So that's just to explain what this means down here. If you come and have a look at this, where we've got dual displays, 5K at 60 hertz, 4K at 144 hertz, then this is now the read-write speed that you're going to get again in that RAID 0 and RAID 1 configuration, and it's just taken a couple of different NVMe SSDs here for the test. So this is what this is based on. Different drives may well have different speeds. So that is just to explain the different read-write speeds that you're getting from this. So just to also be clear about the multiple displays, because this is a question that comes up often with, in particular, the Macs and Mac Minis, because there is a limit on how many displays can be powered by a particular Mac. Now, the M4 Mac Mini Pro can power these 3 external displays. So just so that we're absolutely clear about this, because the naming is a little bit confusing as well in these terms, these have display port connections on the back. That is the type of connector. So it's an alternative to HDMI. If you've got HDMI monitors, then you would require a display port to HDMI adapter to then plug into those. It's totally interchangeable and there'll be no problem with that whatsoever. The reason why I mention this is because there is another thing which we talk about when we're talking about multiple displays, which is Display Link. Display Link is a software technology and built into certain docks. For example, I've got a couple of Wavelink docks that power up to 4 or 5 external monitors. The reason why I say that is because this is not what's going on here. These are just powering these monitors natively with what we can power from the Mac itself. So don't worry that you're going to need to have any other piece of software. You just plug this in and it will just work and be able to power those monitors. So let's just take a look at some of the other specs then. If we just come down here, I won't go through all of these, but you can see here a comparison, and this just gives you an idea of those different speeds that you're going to get from the data transfer, but also from those USB sockets that we've got attached as well. So let's talk about some pros and cons then. First of all, if you are a fan of the Mac Pro, then I'm sure you'll appreciate the sort of design aesthetic of this and giving us that sort of similar looking form factor in this really teeny tiny package, obviously made possible because of just the small size of the Mac Mini. So I personally really do love the form factor. Of course, Apple and design purists would say, maybe the enclosure gap here should completely match this one to make them exactly the same and make them exactly equal in terms of the spacing and things like that. But hey, I'm a designer, so those kind of things leap out at me. But apart from that, the build quality on it and everything is just really, really great. The main point about this, though, is obviously with the Mac Mini, we can power up to 3 monitors. And I think these days, most people have got more than one monitor, or maybe those are just the circles that I move in. So the ability to just get the full sort of 3 monitor allowance, if you want to call it that we've got on the, or capability that we've got on the Mac Mini out of this enclosure is great for that reason. But of course, the other thing, though, is the ability to just maximize our storage, or at least increase it in a more affordable way. Now, I say it more affordable because the dock itself, so this unit is $169 at the moment as it stands on the Acasis website. There are some offers that run from time to time as well, and you may be able to get one at a different price, but that is the current cost of it. And then when we pair that with external drives, it still is going to be significantly lower than, if we jump from, say, a terabyte to 2 terabytes when we actually spec out our Mac Mini. And what that means is we can be a little bit more conservative with the way that we spec out the Mac Mini. And for me, for example, on this one, I've just got 500 gigabytes on the actual Mac Mini itself, knowing that I can put in additional drives into the enclosure. And yes, mission critical stuff is still running on the actual Mac Mini drive itself. All the apps and software and stuff are installed on that. However, I can have all my data installed on the external drives in the enclosure. And of course, we've also got the possibility then of having those in a RAID configuration to either give us more speed or more security, or however we want to do that. And also allows us to maybe swap out for larger drives at some point in the future if we need to do that. So for me, those are the biggest 2 features. It's the ability to have the additional monitors and also the additional capacity in there. There are obviously some additional sockets on here. So we've got the SD card reader there, the micro and regular SD card reader. Now, for me, that's not a thing. I don't really use those, but I know many people do. So having that conveniently on the top there that you can just pop in your cards, I'm sure will be helpful for some people. And then we've also got the additional USB sockets on the front there. Now, obviously, on the back of the Mac Mini, we've got 3 Thunderbolts, but one of those is taken up by connecting to the dock itself. So we're kind of losing one of those, but we're gaining these 3 USB-A. Now that brings me on to one of the things that I wish was slightly different about this. And I've got to say, it's not just Acasis really. I'm finding this with many manufacturers of docks and hubs and so on, that there does seem to still be an emphasis on USB-A with a lot of manufacturers, when these days, so many of the peripherals that we're getting and adding into our setups are using USB-C. So it would have been great to see more USB-C and fewer of the USB-A. It seems like maybe just one USB-A and the others USB-C. Similarly, I would say there perhaps is the opportunity to just add more as well. I mean, the power supply that I mentioned, is a 30-watt power supply. If it was possible to maybe have, additional USB-C in here with a bigger power supply, so rather than these being vertically orientated like here, imagine if there were like, I don't know, 6 or 8 USB-Cs in a sort of vertical arrangement like that, but then just have a much bigger power supply. That would be really great. But I guess we can't have everything all at once. Now, just to say how I'll be using this in my setup. Now, normally I am using this Mac Mini Pro in my for my recordings, but I've just switched over to my my laptop at the moment. But the point is, I've actually got 6 monitors connected here. Now, what this allows me to do then is connect 3 of those kind of natively, and then the others are being powered by an external dock that is using the DisplayLink software. It's better if you can to have the use the allowance that we've got first before we use DisplayLink. Obviously, any amount of monitors that you're driving on the computer is taking up processing power, but if they're going through DisplayLink, it's basically another layer of a processor required on top of that, just because it's going through the software. So 3 monitors connected using this is lightening that load in some ways as well. Obviously, then there is the storage issue as well, but in this sort of studio setup, I have got just 1 or 2 additional USB things connected. So even with the additional connectivity that this gives, it's still not enough. So I do have a secondary USB hub that is, or Thunderbolt hub, I should say, that is allowing me to connect other things like my Rodecaster and various cameras and stuff like that. So this is basically just giving me that expansion of the storage and some additional connectivity there, and the monitors, and then for all the other things, and then using some additional docks and hubs for that as well. But all in all, a really great addition and a really great way to, as I say, just expand out the connectivity that you've got on your Mac Mini. Now, I've left a link down in the description to all of this and the links and so on. What you'll find over here is a video that YouTube thinks you may want to watch.